Hello and welcome to the FA Cup. Today we are taking on Peterborough. Anyway, they're not as good as we are. We should win this game. On the downside, we don't have other John Green or Bald John Green. Bald John Green is home taking care of his husband, who is, of course, terribly injured and is out for 50 days and 50 nights due to the negligence of me, the manager of the team. Today I'm going to talk to you about the economy and the two competing visions for the economy in we have a Swedish referee. That's good. He will be fair and handsome. The two competing visions for the economy presented by the two major candidates for president of the United States, Mitt Romney and the current president, Barack Obama. By the way, we're starting French the Lana up front along with Stone Cold Steve with the C. Austin. Is that a controversial decision? Yes, but we have a lot of tired players, and I'm trying to rest them, so we'll see how that goes against Peterborough. Okay, so basically you have two models. One, let's call one in Europe they would be called the growth model and the austerity model for how to grow the economy and decrease unemployment. Unemployment in the United States is not that high, but that's not something politicians can actually say. It is a little high. That was indeed a foul. Get up. Oh, God, are you kidding me? Oh. Stone Cold Steve with the C. Austin, who it has to be said has not had a good season, injured in the 5th minute. Who am I even going to bring on? I guess I'm going to bring on D. McGoldrelocks, but I'm cranky. What's disappointing about that is that I feel like that injury results from Stone Cold Steve with the C. Austin consistently failing to play up to his potential, and frankly partying too much. I think he's having too good of a time. I think he's out there with the ladies doing his Stone Cold Steve with the C. Austin thing, when what we need him to be doing is, supporting his beloved club. I'm going to take a shot because that never works. And indeed, it didn't work, but no. So, all right, so the austerity idea is basically that we need to cut government spending, and that will facilitate growth and also decrease debt. We do have quite a lot of sovereign debt here in the United States. Not as much as, like Greece or something, but we have a lot. So, and so the idea that Mitt Romney puts forth is that if we decrease government spending and also decrease taxes, which is a little bit different from proper austerity. In proper austerity, we would increase taxes. That then the government will be better will be better able to sort of live within its means, and at that point we will have some increased economic growth because the private sector will have fewer. There are a lot of reasons for this in the theory. Theory one is that one of the leading sort of problems for private sector growth is government regulation, and that if we can decrease government regulation, there will be increased profitability and increased growth in the private sector. The private sector will create more jobs, and then we will have lower unemployment and also a higher GDP. That is not a bad idea, and there is some evidence that it works. However, it works in a very limited way, it's important to note, and the vast majority of jobs are not dependent upon any level of government regulation. And the conclusion that I'm going to eventually come to in this video is that pretty much they're both wrong in this sense. They both vastly overestimate the role of government in creating or not creating jobs. The game has stopped, but it has started again. Lots of fouls from Peterborough. I don't like the way they play. They play dirty. So then you have the president's idea, which is sort of further stimulus. You may remember that we had this big stimulus package in 2008 that did, most economists agree at least, did decrease the size and depth and length of the recession. Or maybe not the length, actually. I don't know that all economists agree about that. But definitely was sort of a good, at least an effective short-term fix. Whether it was in the long-term interest of the economy, economists disagree about. So, but then again, economists, economists are really good at predicting what's going to happen like 12 to 18 months from now. They're really bad at predicting what's going to happen like 10 years from now. And generally, markets are really bad at predicting that stuff, which is one of my big problems with markets. Anyway, that's not relevant. So the president says that we need to decrease. We need to kind of stop the shedding of tax dollars. Our government revenue has gone down each of the last 4 years, mostly because the economy has shrunk, which means the government collects less money in taxes because people are making less money, but also because there have been some tax cuts, although you wouldn't know it to hear the discourse. You would think that Obama has raised taxes, but in fact he has cut them. He has particularly cut them for rich people, so I don't know why they are so mad at him. So anyway, that theory goes that if we do things like extend unemployment benefits and do big infrastructure projects, build roads and bridges, and continue to digitize medical records, those things create jobs, but they also have what's called a multiplier effect, which means that they create public sector jobs, but they also create jobs to support those public sector jobs. This is an interesting, I agree that you should finally get a red card because that's the 17th time you fouled me, sir. Going into D. McGoldrylocks from the back like that. It's inappropriate. Oh, they have an injured player too. I'm sorry. I never like to see an injury. So anyway, the theory goes that through this multiplier, you may spend $1 trillion, but you'll get $3 trillion or $1.9 trillion or whatever you think the multiplier is in GDP growth. And there is that is also true. So both of these theories are not wrong, at least like not technically wrong. Both Romney's solution for the economy and Obama's solution for the economy are things that would probably help the overall GDP. Which is the better strategy? Well, I'm not going to tell you what I think. But I will say this. I don't think either strategy is going to do really anything to help or hurt the economy very much. I don't think that we're in the sovereign debt crisis that the Republican Party would have us believe that we're in. I also don't think that government can solve the unemployment rate in the way that the Democratic Party would have us believe. I do think it's important to, there's really no question in my mind from a maybe I'm wrong. I should say that. I'm often wrong. But there's this whole theory that all taxes are bad, right? That like all new taxes are bad or all tax hikes are bad. This is an ongoing idea in American political discourse. We've all heard this, like, all these politicians pledging no new taxes. Well, there is a point at which not having taxes is very bad. You can ask Somalia if you don't believe me. So the question is, what is the proper taxation rate? And we know for a fact that the proper taxation rate is not 0, because then we couldn't have all of the stuff that we like public schools and roads and a military and everything. So we know that there is a proper taxation rate. The question is whether it is less or more than the current taxation rate. I would argue pretty strenuously that for people who make over $250,000 a year or for people who have capital gains, the current tax rate is frankly way, way, way too low. It's much lower than it was, for instance, in 1987 when Ronald Reagan made the tax rate much, much lower than it had ever been for wealthy people before. And I think that sort of that Reagan-era tax rate is probably close to what you would want. So I think it's pretty crazy, I have to say, when Romney says that he wants to eliminate the capital gains tax, which is, frankly, in my opinion, just completely insane and incentivizes all kinds of disastrous economic behavior. But I also think it's a little bit insane when, oh gosh, great save from Ricardo Bunsen-Byrne, when Obama says that he doesn't want to roll back all of the Bush tax cuts. I think that they should all be rolled back because because we do have a little bit too much debt and we need to do something about it. And there's no way that we can solve our debt problem with cutting government spending. I think everybody knows that. It involves both cutting government spending and raising taxes. However, you do run the risk of slowing growth if you raise taxes too much. So I get that it's complicated and difficult. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that either team, as it were, Ricardo Bunsen-Byrne is really saving us here. we might need a little bit of ball John Green in this game momentarily. I don't think that either team adequately understands, or at least maybe they do understand and they're just not being honest, how little government regulation and all this stuff have to do with the actual growth of the economy. It just isn't that important. The things that are important are things that the government can't control, which is precisely whoa, D. McGoldrielocks, I needed you to get up. Context is everything. That's precisely why, incidentally, economists predicted that we would have an 8.2% unemployment rate in 2012, and here we are with an 8.2% unemployment rate. And there's really nothing that anybody could have done. I mean, a bigger stimulus probably wouldn't have solved the problem, and would have, I think at least, would have made bigger problems. I'm not convinced that. I think another round of stimulus might have sort of a short-term effect on the unemployment rate, but I don't think it'd have get it off your foot. I don't think it'd have a long-term effect on it. And I mean, one of the concerns about these sort of artificial stimulations of the economy is that it doesn't allow the economy to reset at the number it needs to reset at in order to start growing again organically. So all of which is to say that basically I think both teams are wrong. But mostly they're wrong because they think that the stuff that they do matters more than it does, which is not unique to politicians. Pretty much everyone in human history has felt that way, right? So I happen to believe that YA literature is extremely important to the health of the world. But, that's because I write young adult novels and I'm interested in that world. Okay, we need to bring everybody up. It's the 87th minute, and we need to score. Get in there, Boots Wellington. No, he didn't get in there. He failed to get in. This is disappointing. And then an unnecessary slide tackle. Pure desperation now from the Swoodley Poopers. All we need to do is win against Peterborough. This is ridiculous. This is Peterborough. What is happening to us? We are a 90th minute team. Go. Ultra attacking. Go. Everybody go. Oh, no, it's a draw. It's another 0-0 draw. It's been so long since we had a 0-0 draw. Anyway, the point is that you shouldn't think that your little pond is the only pond that matters in the world. It looks like it's going to be another 0-0 draw. Thanks for watching. Sorry I didn't score. Context is everything. Best wishes.